The Soul Redeemer, Book 2, Chapter 18, Protection. As they walked back toward the house, Nicole paid attention to her surroundings for the first time since her arrival. The snow-capped Tetons were visible, rising above the pine trees that shielded the view of the house from the road. She noticed a large meadow with tall green grass and some wildflowers, and then she spotted the corral. "I love your ranch, Sam. It's so beautiful. Where are your horses?" "I'd love to have horses and a dog, maybe someday, but for now, I have to be ready to leave at a moment's notice, and there'd be nobody to care for them. I figure with chickens, they can scrounge for themselves while I'm gone." "You just need a wife, Sam," she said. "Whoa there, lady. Just because we're working together, you can't go planning my demise," he said. Nicole laughed. "I was just offering a suggestion, but demise? You must have a terrible view of marriage." "Been there, done that, and don't intend to head that direction ever again," he said. "I'm sorry, Sam." He took a deep breath and let it out slowly. "It was a long time ago. The one redeeming thing is my daughter and grandson." They had stopped walking and were standing just off the front porch enjoying the view and what was left of the sunshine. Dark clouds were quickly moving across the sky in their direction, promising rain. Nicole broke into the silent moment. "There is peace here, Sam. It's truly the peace of Jesus Christ." Sam nodded in agreement. He said, "The first thing I did when I bought this land was to kick off the evil spirits that had been attached to it. Then I dedicated it to the Lord, asked the Holy Spirit to move in here and to cleanse and heal it. I believe that it was chosen by God to be a place of safety and refuge in the end times, like one of the 6 cities of refuge in the Bible." Nicole gasped as she tried to comprehend the enormity of God's greatness and plans. It was as if she was seeing the world through his eyes for just a moment. She saw Samaria, her city of refuge, now Sam's ranch, and in her mind's eye she saw the globe with other cities or places of refuge popping up here and there. "Hey, lady, what's going on?" he asked. "Oh, Sam, it's all so wonderful and hopeful. That's our vision for Samaria as well, a city of refuge. I think God was just showing me that he's placing this same vision in the hearts of his people all over the world. He's setting up places like this around the globe. What do you think this means?" With a pensive look on his face, he said, "Well, I'm pretty sure we're in the last days. I felt a shift in the spiritual realm several months back, and then with everything we know about world events, I think God's showing you that he's preparing safe places for his people around the world." Nicole smiled and said, "Yeah, I felt that shift too. If that's the case, do you think that those who are living in them will be safe from the persecution?" "I don't know about that," Sam said. "The Bible talks a lot about a safe place, which is always under the shelter of his wings. That place can now be found within each of us as the Holy Spirit abides in us. Maybe the safe places like my ranch and your Samaria are to be training grounds, helping people to find that safe place with the Lord, so that no matter where they are, they're able to stand firm in their faith." Maria opened the screen door and stepped out onto the porch. "Miss Nicky, Mr. Sam, you are hungry, no? Maria has lunch almost ready. Give me 10 minutes, yes?" "Sounds great, Maria. Thank you," Nicole responded. Maria went back inside, smiling as always. She and Sam climbed the steps and sat down on the porch chairs. "That's somehow comforting to remember that we can all have a place of refuge within us." Nicole was thinking about her tabernacle. "How do you see this ranch functioning as a safe place?" "Good question," he said. "I really don't know. I just know that's how I feel about this place, like I have a knowing deep inside me." "Tell me more about your ranch," Nicole encouraged. "I have 135 acres," he said. "I live on an unnamed road. I have solar panels and a generator, but they aren't hooked into the grid. The only place I communicate with the outside world is in my bunker. It's dug into the side of the hill and is insulated with material that virtually stops traceability. I don't use cell phones from here because I don't want anybody to think I have any kind of new technology. I do have a landline in the house, but it's only set up for local calls. That way I can talk to my daughter. With satellite technology, of course the government knows this house is here, and they know I live here. It's not possible to be completely hidden. I just want to portray the image that I'm a loner and like to live the life of an old codger in isolation in old ways. Picturing Sam as an old codger was a believable image, and it made her smile as she thought of Alec, the old codger in Samaria. I heard you talking to someone on the phone in the bunker. How do you do that? She asked. We have our own private satellites that are off the grid as well, so I communicate through the internet using them. They're pretty safe, but there's always a chance they could be monitored. I take precautions when I can and use technology sparingly. When I have important information to pass on and it's not an emergency situation, I generally use the old postal mail system. Believe it or not, it's actually safer than the web. Sam got up and walked over to the edge of the porch. As he looked out over the ranch, he said, I also try to stay off the grid in the spiritual realm, to keep it blocked from the eyes and ears of the enemy. Every morning I ask for a covering of Jesus' blood and for angels to create a spiritual barrier over this property. I bind seeker, scanner, and eavesdropping spirits that are always trying to break through. I ask Holy Spirit to deal with any evil or human spirits that try to enter this land. I ask him to clear the air above from any enemy interference and to close the ground off from any portals Satan might try to open from that angle. And every time someone comes onto this property, including myself, I command all hitchhiking spirits to be stopped and bound and kicked far away by the angel guards at the front gate. Nicole smiled at the similarities in the things that God had taught them in Samaria and Sam here on the ranch. It reminded her that he had a big plan in place. Even though she wished she were at home and that this didn't have to happen, Nicole could sense that her faith was growing as she saw God's hand at work. Maria called out, Come, it is time for hungry people to eat. They washed up, and when they sat down at the table, Sam blessed the food. Nicole continued to think about the things he had said about security measures. She took a bite and asked, Sam, do your bodyguards only work when you leave the ranch? Sam looked up from his plate of food with a mouthful of chicken sandwich, and he said, I don't know what you're talking about, lady. I don't have any bodyguards. Nicole asked, Then what do you call those two men who were with you at the saloon? There wasn't anybody with me at the saloon, Sam said with a puzzled expression on his face. She looked over at Maria for some support, and Maria just smiled really big and nodded her head in affirmation. Nicole said, They look like they were straight out of Men in Black. Wait a minute, Sam said. He put his sandwich down and swallowed. Are you saying that you saw two men dressed in black suits with me in the saloon the other day? Maria chimed in. And sunglasses, too, just like in the movie. And they rode in the truck all the way back here to the ranch, Nicole said. I don't know where they went once we got here. I was too tired to pay attention to them after that. Sam leaned back in his chair. Well, I'll be. I always pray for angels, but I've never seen any. Just believe they were there. And you both saw them? And you thought they were real people? He looked over at Nicole, who was just about in as much a state of shock at this revelation as Sam was. She nodded. Maria was smiling like she was just pleased as punch. Well, I'll be, Sam exclaimed again. He smiled, picked up his sandwich, and took a big bite, and with a mouthful he said, Angels, and dressed in black. Cool. And dark sunglasses, Maria added again. Nicole decided to refrain from commenting on his lack of table manners and instead asked, I wonder if they go everywhere with you, or if they were on special assignment. He answered in between chews, I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but now I understand how I was able to locate you and your items so quickly and easily. He swallowed, lifted his glass of milk up towards the ceiling and said, Thanks, God, and thanks, guys. Then he guzzled down the whole glass of cold milk without taking a breath.